I think that animals have the core emotions, but you and I need to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Okay? Depression suffers from being both a symptom, which is an emotion, as well as a clinical condition. Now, do I believe that animals can sometimes have a conservation and withdrawal reaction in response to stress? Sure. But I'm not sure that's the same thing as the person that is sitting across from me in my office that is explaining to me how they don't feel joy, they can't feel joy, they don't feel they belong, and they want to kill themselves. So if your cats are telling you that they're sad, then you and I got another discussion we're going to have.
So you think perhaps it's that humans can think about what they're thinking?
Absolutely. There's a network, and I'm sure Andy can tell you more about this. There's a network that has to do with actually being able to be self-referential. All the receptors in your body are firing off, and they're going up into your brain, and your brain is putting that, how tight your colon is and how much all these things that are unconscious to you, and your brain is putting those in order, and they're not just putting them in order, but in the human brain, because of the complexity of the insular cortex, they are actually duplicating that, so you have the capacity to actually consider how you feel, and there's no evidence that animals can actually produce that.
Oh, and if I could add to that, and I think a lot of the differences in our prefrontal cortices, our frontal lobe is much, much bigger, much more finely developed than what we see in animals. So I think it ties to being able to think about the future and, what am I going to do next week, what am I going to do next month, which I think that's something most animals are lacking. But, in animals' credits, for example, cats, their cerebellars are huge, so they can do things which I never could. I certainly wouldn't land on my feet if I fell from a tall flight. So I think it really boils down to biological differences between the different species.